Hello and welcome to the Musical Instrument Investigator. Today we're on the website of Dogny Auctions based in Switzerland. We're going to have a look at part of one of their latest sales, which is happening on the 20th of June. It's the 14th today, so a few days left to go. I'll put a link to the catalogue in the description. So there's only 26 lots which are musical instruments in this auction, and they're mainly bowed stringed related, but they seem fairly interesting, so I thought worth having a look. So the buyer's premium on this auction is 23%, so whatever the final hammer price, you need to add that on top. This is a Swiss auction, so bear that in mind. Import, export fees, shipping, CITES, all of that fun stuff. Before we get going, just like to say, if you do enjoy these videos, please consider subscribing, like, comment, turn on notifications, etc. Currency is in Swiss francs, so check out the conversions for your currency. 1,000 Swiss francs is roughly just under 900 British pounds. So I'll occasionally might mention that as a conversion, but otherwise Swiss francs is the currency. Right, let's crack on and see what we've got. So I've tried to kind of look through this catalogue a bit. It can be a bit slow on the images, unfortunately, so bear with me. So we've got a German violin, late 18th, early 19th century, estimate 800 to 1,000 Swiss francs. It's got a Testore label, 359 length of back. It's got a few restorations on the table. Quite interesting looking though. If we look at this in more detail, we'll see that it's actually inked purfling, which is quite interesting. Definitely lots of repairs and things there. We can also have a look at the back as well. I have to learn how to navigate this particular auction portal because it's a new one to me. But kind of interesting violin. Looks like there might be something going on with the sound post there. But yeah, interesting inked purfling instrument. And yeah, this nice back of the scroll, which is plain, a bit like a Testore. Looks kind of familiar, that one. I can't quite remember because my memory is a bit ropey these days, but definitely looks a bit familiar for sure. But anyway, we must carry on. So that's the first lot there. And we've got a late 19th century German violin inspired by Italian, 357 length of back there. Let's see if we can get the translate to kind of stay on there without interrupting us. So it's kind of interesting looking there, fairly nice back, but it looks like it's been messed around with a bit. What's interesting about this instrument is this fluting. It's kind of really weirdly deep fluting, but these pictures are really quite good quality though. Look how kind of far you can zoom in. Really quite good quality. So that's interesting to see. And then on the back here, you can see here, interesting choice of wood there on the back. Doesn't look so old though when you look at the back images. So moving on, so that was 900 to 1,000 Swiss francs. So another violin here, so it looks like we have to close every one here. German or Eastern European violin, 20th century, 1900 to 1930, 359 length of back. Good state of preservation. Let's have a look at this. Quite a nice back on that actually. Interesting scroll. Beziaks actually did use some pretty amazing wood for their instruments, but as per the listing, it's just got the label of, and I wouldn't even consider that it's an actual Beziak, but a fairly nice piece of wood. Interesting varnish as well. Let's have a quick look at the front there. You can see the scroll as well. Yeah, interesting enough, nothing too crazy, so 900 to 1,000 Swiss francs on that one as well. Okay, so we've got violin, the work of Mirko, 1900 to 1920, inspired by the Calsaf family with a Bergonzi label, 359 length of back. It's got two bows there. One which is mounted Melchor with silver button, stamped Geneva, okay. Good condition, bottom seal slightly restored. Let's have a quick look at this. Yeah, it's not too bad an instrument actually. Looks fairly nice. see if we can get these pictures to work. Quite a nice scroll. Unfortunately, the this website is, the pictures are really good, but the uploading, how the actual website works, is really not very good. Unfortunately, it does kind of just go wrong very easily. I've tried to also look at this auction on other platforms, and it's just, for one way or another, just extremely difficult. So unfortunately, that's just the way that it is with this auction house. But their online platform they have here is not great, unfortunately. Right, we've got a 19th century French violin with a label for Testore. The certificate from Rampel and Vatlo, they're from 2009. Some restoration to the table, Baroque assembly ready to play. So 2,000 to 3,000 here, so we're kind of a little bit under £3,000 there on the estimate. Let's have a look at that. It's kind of nice enough. Quite like that, quite interesting scroll. Let's have a look at the back as well. And there you can see the Baroque setup there. I think that's quite nice actually. I don't think it's too bad. Quite a nice scroll. And there's the label. What does the Rampel certificate say? Yeah, French instrument on the first part of the 19th century school of Calsa. Interesting. Yeah, very, very curious. So that's good to see. Right, let's see what else we got here. Right, an interesting Italian-inspired violin by Alfred Fallet, bearing a label Alfred Fallet, Luthier, Dombressen, Switzerland. Okay, interesting. 359 length of back there. Very good state of preservation. Let's have a look at that. Edge work is quite strong on that violin. Quite cool scroll though. Let's see. Interesting back. And side view there. Let's have a look. And scroll there. Let's see what else we got. Got a bow. Let's have a look. We've got a bow, modern work made by the House of Finkel-Weidhaus, silver and ebony. So these are Swiss bows. And once again, we've got this weird issue with the images here. Small stain on the head, but not a restoration. Okay, interesting. Some of the varnish is kind of gone from that. We've got a violin here, 19th century, by Claude Augustin Mirmont, made in Paris 1865. Rare and interesting copy made in the inspiration of Jean-Baptiste Guadagnini in Turin. Okay, interesting. 359 length of back. Accompanied by a it says dendrology, dendrochronology analysis carried out by Patrick Gassman, as well as certificate of authenticity by Maison Boyer. Okay, fair enough. 15,000 to 19,000 there, so it's a bit more on the pricey side. Definitely an interesting violin. I wonder if they also did the dendro thinking it could be something else. It's quite possible. Really nice back on that as well, so that's good. A nice looking instrument certificate there. And there you go, there's a certificate saying that it's Claude Augustin Mirmont. Okay, another bow here. And Luc Breton, beautiful bow in Pernambuco, silver mounted ebony frog, bears an iron mark L Breton 1000 to 1500 Swiss francs on that. Very good state of preservation apparently. Maybe if we turn that off it might stop. Violin around 1900 inspired by Erminio Montefiore. Interesting violin made around 1900 in the inspiration of Erminio Montefiore in Genoa, bearing a label of Carlo Tononi Venice, 361mm with a coffin case. Restorations on the table. Looks like soundpost crack. Various other bits going on there. Interesting scroll on that one as well. Definitely curious. Quite an interesting back on that one. That's the scroll, so that's curious enough. Let's see what else we got here. Right, German violin. Late 18th century. Right, looks like it's just going to force us to constantly do that for some reason. German violin, late 18th century, early 19th century, 1,000 to 1,200 Swiss francs. The label of Joseph Straub, 358. Length of back. Lots of restorations and worm on this one. Varnish has been redone. Still fairly interesting looking instrument. Said unfortunately the pictures on this website just do not load very well. Nice scroll. Have a look at the back there. It's definitely had a lot of varnish work. Fairly nice bow as well. 1,000 to 1,200 Swiss francs there. Okay, we've got an interesting cello here. German or Eastern European cello, 19th century, 1,500 to 2,000 Swiss francs. Okay, circa 1830, 1850, ready to play apparently. Let's have a quick look at the images before we dig into the back. Yeah, unfortunately we're just going to suffer this same problem the whole time where the pictures just do not load, which is really quite frustrating. Unfortunately, I think they just don't have the correct infrastructure on their site for good photos, so that's really quite annoying. So let's try it again if we can. So we're just struggling a bit there with the internet. Unfortunately, these pictures just really aren't loading well at all, which is really unfortunate. Especially any of the bigger photos. It looks like there's a big crack on the back there. If we try and zoom in a bit, we can see it a little bit better now. Definitely in quite a bad state of preservation. Quite like the F holes though. Interesting looking cello for sure. It's a shame that these photos just really struggling to load. I mean, fair play to them because these pictures are very, very high quality, but they're almost like too high quality. You sometimes get this problem with it was the kind of join that they're looking at. You get this problem with Teresio sometimes, that the pictures are just such good quality that it just can be problematic loading. But these pictures, wow, they really are quite impressive actually. Whoever did them, very kind of high quality camera. We've got a French violin, late 18th century, early 19th century, entourage of Francois Breton, 354 length of back, restorations on the table, heel of the bottom damaged, restored, small chip on the head. So this is loading a bit better. Quite nice actually. Yeah, quite nice back on that. Let's have a closer look at this one. I think that's fairly interesting. Yeah, very nice back on that for sure. Beautiful pictures. Right, viola bow, signed Salcho NY, 1,500 to 2,000 Swiss francs on that. I'm not really familiar enough with the Salcho bows from the US to know if this would be genuine or not. I always wonder that the estimate would seem a bit too low if it was the case, but you never know. So if anyone is familiar with these bows or real ones, do let me know if this bears any similarity. I have no idea. Okay, so they're saying a beautiful 18th century French viola, 1760 to 1780, the provincial work, with a label of Caron, 402mm length the back, which is pretty good, and a pay-sold bow, good condition, ready to play. Restoration on the sound post on the table, a few other bits here and there. So it looks like it could potentially be interesting. We're obviously at the curse of the photo thing again, which is once again quite irritating, but nothing that we can really do. But quite possibly from a specification point of view, some of the highest quality photos I think I've seen. Very, very interesting. Yeah, quite a nice viola that. Okay, so we've got a cello around 1950 to 1970. So an industrial cello there. So we don't need to spend too much time on it, but if it can load up, then that would be nice. I think this is the problem, with having pictures that are almost too good. It can cause problems, and I don't think that the internet that I have here is particularly slow either, to be honest. So I feel that this is just too heavy on the picture quality there. We're finally getting there. Just takes a bit too long to load. And let's see here. Cello bow signed Jean-Paul Leroy in Bordeaux, 900 to 1800 Swiss francs there. Broken wand restored to head, value for rise and button. Okay, so it's there. It's the head is gone. Right, got disappearing pictures as well. That's interesting. So this bow would probably be a lot more if it was in better condition. So that's definitely interesting to see. And got a 20th century German cello, 1900 to 1920, 762mm length the back. It's got a red case apparently. These pictures seem a little bit less heavy than some of the others. Okay, German cello by J.A. Bader and Co. And looks like this is made around 1910 to 1915. Restorations on the table, 1,000 to 2,000 Swiss francs. Nothing too crazy there, but a fairly nicely made trade cello. We've got a German cello by Hans Martin Bader, 1952. Accompanied by two bows in worthless condition, and in its case, right, okay, really, I'm sure that's kind of a translation thing, but interesting in any case. I think it's kind of interesting looking cello. I mean, these are kind of trade bows, but they're probably okay. This looks like it's had a bit of a break there, but I think it could be worse. Cello looks kind of okay, 3,000 to 5,000 on that. Looks nice enough. Let's see what else we got. A few things left. Nice cello made in Mirko around 1900. Good state of conservation, a bit of worm. 3,000 to 5,000 Swiss francs there. It looks fairly nice. Nothing too crazy. I think most of the estimates on this auction have been fairly reasonable as well, which is good. Okay, interesting. We've got a Hill cello bow here. Silver and ebony. W.E. Hill and Sons. Restorations to the head with nail. Okay. Looks like it's had a split or something. 800 to 1,000. Yeah, it would be a lot more otherwise. So here we've got something going on. A break, which is quite common, I guess. Okay. French cello, work of Gerard Mangy. Miracle. 3 to 5,000 Swiss francs there. We attach a Miracle cello bow mounted Malachor everywhere the iron mark of Prosper Colas without value. Really kind of strange the way that they word this stuff. Really quite interesting. That's quite a nice cello though. Yeah, I think that's quite nice. Bow is fine. Yeah, I think that's quite like that cello actually. That's quite nice. Looks like it. Zoom in a bit. Looks like there might be a big sound post crack there in the back, so that's going to affect the valley. Restorations, broken core bass. There you go. Yeah, so bass bar crack there. We're starting to learn the Swiss terminology here. Right, okay. Beautiful 18th century French cello, 40 to 60,000 Swiss francs, with a label Claude Puret. Dendrochronology analysis carried out by Peter Ratcliffe there. Very good condition. Not on the original bottom, but no accident. Okay. Core breakage restoration. Okay. Seems interesting. Let's fly through the photos first, and then we'll go back. Nice. That's a really beautiful scroll. Look at that. Wow. Very nice looking instrument. Yeah, there's a knot there on the back, but that's standard. Okay, we've gone through the things there. Let's have a look at the thing up close. Yeah, nice looking there. Let's have a look at the back as well. Nice looking back. Interesting position of a knot there, basically very close to where the sound post is. Interesting, lovely piece of wood and lovely varnish. Really like that. It's a very nice looking instrument. And a couple of bows here. Silver mounted cello bow in Pernambuco, 800 to 1200 there. Weight 75.1 grams. See if we can get any pictures to work. Okay. And the last one even. Cello bow signed Matthias Thoma, 700 to 900 Swiss francs there. A few pictures there. And I think that is it. That's the end of the musical instruments in this Dogny auction for the 20th of June. It's a fairly interesting auction actually, with a few interesting items, definitely worth looking at. Some amazing images, really high quality, but unfortunately it just means they load really slowly, so definitely worth checking it out if you get a chance. Really interesting auction. So I'll put a link to the catalogue in the video description as always. Check it out and see what you think. Feel free to comment. Sorry about the slightly sluggish nature of this kind of auction review. It's just very slow with the way those images were loading. So thanks a lot for watching. I really appreciate it, and I'll catch you next time. Bye.